Tiger has been cleared to play. Okay. A couple days ago. Do you think he'll be able to win another major?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, but I think he's good enough player. Well, it went okay for me. I mean, I wasn't in best of health, and I had a few issues, but I think everybody loved the golf course.
Vijay Singh is a Hall of Famer who reached world #1 and won 3 major championships. He built one of golf's greatest careers through pure hard work. But here's what most people remember him for instead: 5 golfers he will never forgive. And it all started when the media called him a racist. What could drive a champion to hold grudges that lasted decades? What made Singh one of the most disliked players in golf history despite his incredible talent? The answer lies in 5 conflicts that defined his entire life in professional golf. These weren't just disagreements. They were battles that shaped how the world saw him and how he saw the world. Singh is an Indo-Fijian who became the first person of South Asian descent to win a major championship. He was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2006. His record is staggering: 34 PGA Tour victories, 13 European Tour wins, 3 major titles. He was named PGA Tour Player of the Year in 2004. He won the Tour's money list 3 times. He captured the FedEx Cup in 2008. Most remarkably, he achieved the world #1 ranking for 32 weeks. He did this by being the only golfer to consistently challenge and ultimately dethrone Tiger Woods during his absolute peak. But alongside that Hall of Fame career sits a darker reputation. Singh earned a spot as one of the 10 most disliked golfers of all time. His career has been described as grossly underappreciated. Why? Because of his notoriously difficult relationship with the golf media. People saw him as aloof, prickly, a loner, and these 5 conflicts are why. The first feud changed everything. It happened in May 2003. Annika Sorenstam was the undisputed top player on the LPGA Tour. She accepted an invitation to play in the Bank of America Colonial. She became the first woman since 1945 to compete on the PGA Tour. The event became a global media sensation. Singh was world #7 at the time, and he walked straight into the fire. In an interview with the Associated Press, Singh held nothing back. What is she going to prove by playing? It's ridiculous, he said. She's the best woman golfer in the world. And I want to emphasize, woman, we have our tour for men, and they have their tour. She's taking a spot from someone in the field. Then came the threats. If he were drawn with her, he would withdraw. And finally, the line that defined everything. I hope she misses the cut. Why? Because she doesn't belong out here. The backlash hit like a freight train. Singh tried to walk it back. He said his words came out the wrong way. He claimed he actually said something different, that if he missed the cut, he'd rather she miss the cut as well. He didn't want a woman to beat him, but the Associated Press destroyed that defense. They reviewed the reporter's notes. They confirmed the original version of Singh's remarks. He had lied. But here's where it gets important. Singh wasn't the only golfer who disagreed with Sorenstam. Playing. Other golfers criticized her participation too, but Singh's comments were the strongest, and he lacked any public relations polish. So he became the perfect villain. He became Vjay the villain, the scourge of talk shows across America. Then the media did something unforgivable. They made it about his race. Barker Davis of the Washington Times wrote that Singh's sexism comes by it naturally. He continued with this. His birth certificate might say Fiji, but Singh is Indian by heritage. Nothing against India or Hinduism, but it's certainly fair to say that culture hasn't been at the fore when it comes to gender equity. Davis concluded that Singh definitely was remembering his patriarchal roots when he made his comments about Sorenstam. Jan Saraceno of USA Today went even further. He framed the entire incident as a clash of cultures and social dogmas. He contrasted Sorenstam from the liberal, open society of Sweden with Singh, born in Fiji to Indian parents. Then Saraceno crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. I don't know how much Singh was influenced by his ancestry, he wrote, but this much I do know. The institutionalized subordination, exploitation, and brutalization of women remains ingrained in that society. To support this claim, he cited Indian government statistics on bride burning. Let that sink in. A golfer made a sexist comment, and the media response was to pull statistics about bride burning in India. Singh was singled out for special condemnation, while other golfers who criticized Sorenstam were ignored. His Indian heritage was used as a weapon. A simple sporting controversy became an indictment of his entire culture. This was the moment that created the monster. Singh learned that the media wasn't just his opponent, it was his enemy, and he would never forget. 2 years later came the next battle. This one was with a peer, the 2005 Masters. Singh was world #1. Phil Mickelson was world #3. This was the peak of the Big Four era, a time of constant friction between elite players. During the second round at Augusta National, Singh was playing in the group directly behind Mickelson. On the 12th green, Singh filed a complaint with tournament officials. He said Mickelson's spikes were tearing up the greens. They were leaving scuff marks. Mickelson had switched from 6mm spikes to longer 8mm spikes before the tournament. A rules official approached Mickelson on the 13th fairway. They discussed the complaint. Mickelson's shoes were checked twice, and here's the key part. They were found to be perfectly within the rules. Will Nicholson, the chairman of the Masters Rules Committee, publicly dismissed Singh's complaint. If there were spike marks, they were created by a person or persons unknown. Singh's power play had failed. He tried to get inside Mickelson's head. Instead, the rules officials sided against him publicly. But it got worse. After a suspension in play, both players ended up in the exclusive champions locker room. Mickelson heard Singh still talking about the spikes, and Mickelson snapped. He furiously confronted Singh. Witnesses described it as a frank exchange of views, a heated discussion. Some reports said Mickelson called Singh a profanity. Tiger Woods' caddy at the time, Steve Williams, confirmed the heated conversation. He said plainly, "There's no love lost between those two, that's for sure." The next day brought a cruel twist. Singh and Mickelson were paired together for the final round. Their interactions were ice cold. They shook hands at the start and finish. They stood on opposite sides of the tee box. They never walked together. Mickelson tried to spin it for the press. "We had a great time. We laughed. We giggled." Nobody believed him. Singh stayed testy and silent. Another peer relationship destroyed. Another grudge locked in forever. The third name on Singh's list is different. Tiger Woods. But this wasn't a hostile feud. It was a professional rivalry built on deep respect. From 2003 to 2005, Singh and Woods flip-flopped to the number 1 and number 2 rankings. Singh's 2004 season remains one of the greatest in golf history. He won 9 times. He captured the PGA Championship. He was named Player of the Year. On September 5th, 2004, he officially dethroned Woods as the number 1 ranked golfer in the world. He was the only player to top Tiger on the money list during Woods' prime, and he did it 3 times. Tiger's caddy, Steve Williams, called it a great rivalry, a love-hate sort of thing. They both love each other, hate each other. They both have deep respect for each other's game. They always want to beat each other's brains out. Tiger himself acknowledged Singh as his biggest rival. Williams noted that there's no player that spends more time practicing than Vijay did. Singh beat the sport's greatest talent. Not by being more talented, he beat him by outworking him. So why does Tiger belong on this list? Because the rivalry put Singh under constant pressure. It forced him into a bubble of conflict. It shaped his worldview of being in constant battle with the establishment and the media that surrounded Tiger. The rivalry wasn't personal, but it fed into Singh's belief that he had to fight everyone and everything to get what he deserved. Tiger represents the relentless competitive pressure that made Singh's entire career feel like warfare. Fast forward to 2020. Singh was 57 years old. During the COVID-19 pandemic pause, he entered a Corn Ferry Tour event, the Corn Ferry Challenge at TPC Sawgrass. The Champions Tour wasn't resuming yet. Singh was eligible to play through his lifetime PGA Tour status. The decision ruffled some feathers among developmental tour players, but one player, 35-year-old Brady Schnell, launched a nuclear attack on Twitter. Schnell's tweets were brutal. "Hey, Vijay Singh, you are a true piece of trash if you accept money playing in a Corn Ferry Tour event, and I'll say it right to your face. He's a complete turd for playing. Just wait another month and roll with your senior friends." Schnell's logic was simple. Singh had earned over $71 million in his career. He was being selfish by taking one spot. That spot and the money could help a young kid. The incident sparked a larger debate. Schnell eventually apologized for his disrespectful language, but he stood by his core argument. And here's the irony. Phil Mickelson, Singh's old enemy from the 2005 Masters, publicly defended Singh's right to play the event. But Singh had learned his lesson. In 2003, he tried to clarify his remarks to the media. The reporter's notes destroyed him. In 2005, he was testy with the media after the Mickelson confrontation. It got him nowhere. In 2020, his response to being called trash was pure silence. He did not respond to Schnell's comments. He simply dropped out of the event. He absorbed the attack, he stewed, and he removed himself. His fights were no longer in the press. They were in the courtroom, which brings us to the 5th and final entry, the most important one, the PGA Tour itself, and 5 unnamed golfers. In January 2013, Singh admitted in a Sports Illustrated article that he used deer antler spray. He claimed he didn't know the product contained IGF-1. That's a growth hormone on the PGA Tour's list of banned substances. The tour's response was swift. They suspended Singh for 90 days, but they didn't do their homework first. Only after issuing the suspension did the tour fully consult the World Anti-Doping Agency. WADA clarified something crucial. They no longer considered the spray a prohibited substance unless a positive test results. Singh had never tested positive. The tour was publicly embarrassed. They were forced to drop the disciplinary action and revoke the suspension. But for Singh, the damage was done. He had been labeled by the PGA Tour, the media, some fellow golfers and fans as someone who intentionally took a banned substance. Singh filed a lawsuit against the PGA Tour in the New York Supreme Court in May 2013. The claim was simple. The tour breached its covenant of good faith and fair dealing. They rushed to judgment. The legal battle was dirty. It lasted for over 5 years. It ended in November 2018, just before trial, with a settlement. The PGA Tour's public statement was total vindication for Singh. The PGA Tour recognizes that Vijay is one of the hardest working golfers ever to play the game, and does not believe that he intended to gain an unfair advantage over his fellow competitors in this matter. But here's the smoking gun. The real reason this feud tops the list. Singh's lawsuit wasn't just about his own mistreatment. It was about disparate treatment. His legal filings made a specific and explosive allegation. The PGA Tour subjected him to absurd treatment by ignoring the use of antler spray by at least 5 other professional golfers. While Singh was suspended and publicly shamed, at least 5 other golfers were never suspended. His lawsuit alleged the tour misled the public by characterizing Singh as a cheater who caught a break, when in fact, he was the only one punished while others who used the same product were protected. Think about what that means. 5 professional golfers used the exact same spray. The tour knew about it, but only Singh faced consequences. Only Singh was suspended. Only Singh was publicly humiliated. Only Singh had his reputation destroyed. The tour could have tested all of them. They could have suspended all of them. They could have treated everyone equally, but they didn't. They chose him. Why? Was it because he was already the villain? Was it because he was the outsider who'd never played their game? Was it because they knew he'd fight back and that would justify their actions? Singh spent 5 years and millions of dollars proving one thing. He was right. This is the unifying theory of Vijay Singh's entire career. In 2003, he was singled out for special condemnation for his patriarchal roots, while other golfers who criticized Sorenstam were ignored by commentators. In 2005, he was singled out for a heated locker room confrontation over legal spikes. In 2020, he was singled out for vicious public shaming for illegal tournament entry. In 2013, he was literally and legally singled out for suspension, while at least 5 others who did the same thing were ignored. The 5 unnamed golfers are the symbol of his entire career. They represent a system that consistently applied a different, harsher set of rules to him, the aloof Indo-Fijian outsider, than it did to the golf establishment. This is why he will never forgive. The 2013 lawsuit wasn't about deer antler spray. It was a 5-year, multi-million-dollar war against 20 years of perceived slights. Starting with the racism angle in 2003, he believed, and in the case of the lawsuit proved, that the actions against him weren't isolated mistakes. They were part of a persistent, unfair pattern of targeting. Vijay Singh's legacy remains split. The grossly underappreciated Hall of Fame athlete on one side, the disliked villain on the other. He is a complex and vulnerable man. His career can't be understood by looking at his wins alone. It must be understood through his conflicts. These 5 feuds aren't separate stories. They're chapters in one continuous narrative that defined his life in professional golf. The 2003 racism angle was the inciting incident. It established him as a cultural outsider. It taught him the media was an opponent he couldn't beat with facts or clarifications. The peer conflicts with Mickelson and Schnell reinforced his loner status. They hardened his prickly exterior into a defensive shell. The rivalry with Tiger Woods was his sole refuge, the one arena where rules were clear, where respect was mutual, where his relentless work was all that mattered. The 2013 lawsuit, built on the existence of the 5 unnamed golfers, was his ultimate battle against the singling out he'd endured his entire career. Singh's unforgiving nature isn't a personality flaw. It's a defense mechanism forged over 30 years. He learned in 2003 that he couldn't win fights in the press. He could only win them in 2 arenas where he could force a fair outcome: on the leaderboard against Tiger Woods, and in the New York Supreme Court against the PGA Tour. The Tour's 2018 settlement and its public admission that he did not intend to gain an unfair advantage wasn't just a resolution. It was his ultimate vindication, proof that his paranoia wasn't paranoia at all. It was pattern recognition. These are the 5 golfers Vijay Singh will never forgive. Annika Sorenstam and the media who used his heritage against him. Phil Mickelson, who confronted him over legal equipment. Tiger Woods, who represented the relentless pressure that defined his prime. Brady Schnell, who called him trash for exercising his legal rights. And the 5 unnamed golfers who did exactly what he did but faced no consequences while he was publicly destroyed. Each represents a different wound. Together they explain why one of golf's greatest champions became one of its most disliked figures. Which of these 5 feuds do you think was the most justified? Was Singh right to hold these grudges, or did he bring it on himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories about golf's most controversial figures, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started.